love drinking caffeinated sodas, but is there a link between caffeine and hypertension? Could your refreshing beverage be putting you at risk? Plus, we'll ask health professionals their opinion on what medical tests they think women really should be getting. All this and more on a special Today's Health, What Women Need to Know on iHealth Presents.
What's the greatest threat to a woman's health and life? You might be surprised to find out that it's heart disease and stroke. These killers take nearly twice as many women's lives each year as all cancers combined. Hello, I'm Faith Daniels, and this is Today's Health. In this special edition, we'll explore the #1 threat to women in the United States, cardiovascular disease. We'll answer the questions, how deadly is it? Who is most at risk? And most important, how can we prevent it?
Heart disease is the nation's #1 killer of American women. Together with stroke, they kill more women than all cancers, any other disease, or accidents.
Cardiovascular diseases account for over 950,000 deaths of men and women each year in the United States. Most people are aware that this is a clear and present danger to men, but a survey revealed that 4 out of 5 women and 1/3 of primary care physicians did not recognize heart disease as the leading cause of death among women.
For a long time, doctors were not aware of the risks and the warning signs of heart disease in women. Now, in part, this was based on research studies that said that women have chest pain, but it's less predictive that they will go on and develop heart disease or go on and have heart attacks or die of it. As we learn more about this, physicians are becoming much more knowledgeable, and we're very eager for the women themselves to become much more knowledgeable.
In 1 year, heart disease and stroke accounted for about 500,000 women's deaths, while all cancers combined claimed about 250,000 women's deaths.
I think that one of the problems, perhaps, is that there is a perception that breast cancer is a women's disease and that heart attacks are a man's disease. And yes, breast cancer is obviously much commoner in women, but I would emphasize again that heart disease, and particularly coronary heart disease and stroke, far outweigh breast cancer as the leading cause of death in women.
You probably heard the term heart attack or stroke very often, but many people are not clear as to what exactly they are.
A heart attack results from an imbalance between the blood flow to the heart and the amount of oxygen that the heart needs to maintain its normal function. It's usually that a plaque containing cholesterol ruptures and ends up causing a blood clot within the coronary artery, and that's the artery that supplies blood to the heart.
A stroke occurs in the brain when the blood supply is cut off. The injury can be permanent and may be fatal.
In a way, the analogy is fairly similar in that a heart attack is destruction of heart muscle. A stroke, again, is due to a blockage usually in an artery, but this time it's an artery going to the brain. And the damage that is done to brain tissue.
The death rates for American women due to heart attack and stroke decreased from 1984 to 1994. More women and their doctors need to become aware of the risks, the warning signs, and the things that can be done to prevent cardiovascular diseases. This will help ensure that the toll taken from these deadly diseases will continue to decline.
What are your chances of developing heart disease? Well, there's no way to be sure. There are certain risk factors and key warning signs of a heart attack or stroke. By being aware of the risks and warnings, you may be able to do what's necessary to avoid this killer.
Heart disease is an equal opportunity killer, but the warning signs, detection, and diagnosis are sometimes different for men and for women. Some factors affect the risk of heart attack and stroke in both sexes equally, but some factors are specific to women.
There are certain things we cannot change that affect our risk of developing heart disease. Increasing age, gender, and family history are some of these key factors. The older we get, the more at risk we become. Your race and a family history of heart disease can also raise your likelihood of developing it.
The differences between blacks and whites are quite interesting. We're beginning to appreciate that there is much more coronary artery disease in blacks than had been well understood. In part, this is because there's now greater access to health care, and this leads to increased diagnosis.
The unchangeable risk factors of coronary heart disease include diabetes and strong family history. The key changeable risk factors include cigarette smoking, hypertension, normal cholesterol, and lack of exercise.
No matter what your risk factors are, we are all susceptible to heart disease and stroke. Early diagnosis and intervention can be the key to your survival, so it's important to recognize the warning signs.
The warning signs of a heart attacks include usually chest pain, which describe as pressure, tightness, shortness of breath, sweatiness and diaphoresis, nausea and vomiting, radiation of the pain to the left arm or both arms.
My warning signs were, I thought, was indigestion. It started in the middle of my chest. I thought I had ate greasy chicken. This, like I said, went on for 3 days, and I ate those Tums by the boxfuls, and it didn't go away. And I still, stupidity, didn't go to a doctor.
Stroke and heart attack should be significant health concerns for women. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death. It causes 47% of all deaths in women, more than all kinds of cancer combined. And stroke is the #3 cause of death in the United States, and 52% of strokes are had by women.
My arm and leg were going to sleep, and I couldn't get up. I was so tired, so very, very weak. And I reached over with my good arm and grabbed my husband. Don, call 911. I think I'm having a stroke.
Warning signs are many. They encompass headache, dizziness, weakness or numbness on one side of the body, and sometimes even double vision or slurred speech or even loss of speech.
Whether you're a woman or a man, the key thing to remember if you have any of the warning signs of a heart attack or stroke is to get help immediately. The faster you can get medical attention, the better your chances of surviving and recovering.
There's more. Today's Health, what women need to know. Coming up on iHealth Presents.
Are there places in your home where you wish you had a light, but you don't?
Hi, Anthony Sullivan here for the wireless stick-up light bulb. A battery-operated light bulb that you can install without an electrician. Just stick up the base, slide in the bulb, and you've got light. It's that easy. There's no wires and no complicated installation. Now you can have light anytime, any place, anywhere. Just stick it up, pull the cord, and you've got light. The stick-up bulb is safe for kids, and it easily puts light within their reach. Unlike glass bulbs that break, the stick-up bulb is shatterproof if you drop it. There's no dangerous wires to mess with either. The stick-up bulb installs instantly, stays cool to the touch, and has a 10-year guarantee. Around the house or on the car, don't use hot clip-on lights when you can use the stick-up bulb. The stick-up bulb is perfect for attics and basements. Have a closet that needs illumination? Use the stick-up bulb. Just stick it up and you've got light. Use one anywhere you need extra light. Nothing's easier to fit underneath the kitchen counter, and they're perfect inside for a tool shed if you don't have power. Use them outside as a wireless light for decks or patios, and they're great for camping and RVs. If the power goes out, you can depend on the power of the stick-up bulb. And each one slides out to become a handy lantern. This electrician charged $180 to install one light bulb. Call now and you'll get the wireless stick-up bulb for just $10. But call right now and we'll throw in a second stick-up bulb free. Just pay separate shipping and handling. That's 2 wireless stick-up bulbs, all for just $10. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-469-3405 and order stick-up bulb for a new and special low price of only $10, and you'll also get a second stick-up bulb for free. That's 1-800-469-3405. 1-800-469-3405. This offer is not available in any retail store, so use your credit card and call 1-800-469-3405 now.
Every time you try to put your necklace on, it's a hassle. That's because you have to get those 2 tiny little clasps to hook together. And if you got long nails, forget it. You actually need someone to do it for you. But now, putting on your jewelry just got a lot easier, because now there's Clever Clasp, the magnetic jewelry clasp that attaches to any necklace. Then, just bring them together and they click and lock. Simply attach a clever clasp to each end of your jewelry, and that's it. Bring them together, and your jewelry's on, even behind your back when you can't see what you're doing. Watch. Just get them close, and your jewelry's on.
Clever Clasp is available in silver or gold to complement all your jewelry.
Plus, the super strength magnets are guaranteed to grip and never slip. So even your heaviest necklaces are perfectly secure. And no more hassling to get your bracelets on either. With Clever Clasp, it's a snap. Perfect for anyone who has trouble seeing or difficulty reaching back to hook their necklace. Even with long nails, Clever Clasp is a snap. Plus, our deluxe Clever Clasp has a built-in locking device to keep all your jewelry safe and secure. Just bring them together, and your jewelry is on. So stop struggling with your jewelry or relying on someone else to help. Call now and get a set of 4 gold Clever Clasps,
A $30 value for only $14.99. As an added bonus, you'll also receive our 3-inch extender chain. It's perfect for adding extra length to your necklaces or just to make your jewelry a little more comfortable around your neck. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer.
And also give you 4 silver Clever Clasps and a 3-inch silver extender absolutely free. That's right, you get 8 Clever Clasps, 4 gold and 4 silver, plus 2 extender chains, an incredible $60 value for just $14.99. But you have to call now.
To order your Clever Clasp, call 1-800-729-8095. That's 1-800-729-8095. Don't delay. Call now at 1-800-729-8095.
And now, back to our Eye Health special presentation of Today's Health, what women need to know.
The statistics may look gloomy, but Americans have made some remarkable progress in the fight against heart disease and stroke. The death rate for all cardiovascular diseases has been dropping dramatically, much of it due to better diagnosis and more effective treatments.
When we talk about treatments for heart attack and stroke, there are 2 important time frames. The first is immediate treatment from the onset of the event, followed by preventive therapy to help avoid a recurrence.
In every case of heart attack and stroke, it is critical to seek treatment immediately, as soon as the warning signs become apparent.
Mom, are you okay? Mom, what happened?
911, can I help you?
Yes, my mom's on the floor. She's not moving. I don't know what's wrong with her.
Did you check to see if she is breathing?
I don't know if she's breathing.
Early intervention can increase your chances of survival and decrease the amount of damage done to your heart or brain.
As long as that patient is experiencing pain, he's losing heart muscle. So you have to think that every tick, cells are dying. But if we can get the drug into the patient within 30 minutes and all the appropriate preparatory drugs in as well, we're going to save a lot of lives.
Cardiac arrest is reversible in many victims
Okay, I've got no pulse.
if it's treated within a few minutes. An electrical device called an external defibrillator is often used to shock a heart with abnormal rhythm into a more normal one.
200, charge. I'm going to defib at 200. Everybody clear?
Everyone's clear.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or CPR, can also restore the normal heartbeat and is a very effective emergency procedure that anyone can and should learn.
This is a nice speed he's doing. Why is that good? How fast?
The modern therapy of a heart attack and now more recently for stroke is to open the vessel, and that's accomplished by 2 mechanisms. The first mechanism, which is nowadays can be administered in the field, is to give an enzyme which will actually dissolve a clot. In the hospital setting, there's one other thing that can be done to open the blood vessel, and that is catheters can be used to open. That's a typical balloon treatment that people have heard about for years or experienced.
One of the toughest problems about treating stroke is that only a small percentage of victims recognize the warning signs and seek emergency treatment in time.
For 2 weeks before my stroke, I had a headache that was sort of like a medium to low grade headache. It wasn't that bad. I took some aspirin. I took stronger aspirin. Nothing would touch it. Nothing would take away the ache. But that was the only symptom I had.
After a person has a stroke, it's often necessary to include physical therapy and occupational therapy with the treatment to help overcome any disability that has been caused by the brain attack.
Although they can be deadly killers, heart disease and stroke are survivable. With proper treatment, millions of people have recovered and are now leading productive lives. But clearly, the preferred course of action is to avoid treatment altogether with the power of prevention.
Women are often the gatekeepers when it comes to their family's health, but while keeping an eye on the children, their husband, their parents, it's also important that they watch their own health too. Heart disease and stroke can often be prevented, especially if you know the risks and avoid them.
Having a heart attack was the last thing in the world I expected. I was more amazed than the doctor when I heard him say she's having a heart attack. As a matter of fact, that's probably when I said to him, this happens to other people, not to me.
In addition to being the leading cause of death, cardiovascular disease is a major cause of disability in women. But there is much that we can do to prevent heart attacks and strokes.
One of the major contributors to both men and women's risk of heart attack is smoking.
Smoking has major effects on the cardiovascular system. It increases the blood pressure. It increases the amount of adrenaline and catecholamines in the bloodstream, which can cause damage to the arteries of the heart. And the nicotine itself, it's believed, can also cause the arteries to get a crack on the inside, which can cause them to develop a clot and actually precipitate a heart attack.
Women smokers who also use oral contraceptives have a much higher risk of heart attack and stroke than women who neither smoke nor use birth control. The good news is that if a woman stops smoking, no matter how long she has smoked, her risk for heart disease and stroke rapidly declines.
In the same way that smoking shrinks up your blood vessels, high blood pressure also causes your blood vessels to become narrow. It also provides the fixed obstruction against which your heart has to contract. So each beat is pushing, the higher the blood pressure, the harder your heart has to work to push blood throughout your body.
High blood cholesterol is one of the major risk factors for cardiovascular disease, and is also one of the risk factors that, if modified and lowered, you can lower your risk of cardiovascular disease.
Other than a back injury, which happened twice in the police department, I have no medical history. Even before the heart attack, I do check the labels for cholesterol and sugar.
I think that most physicians feel that estrogen does reduce the risk of a cardiovascular event in postmenopausal women. We don't really understand the mechanism completely, but part of the reason is felt to be because of the favorable shift in cholesterol from bad cholesterol, which is the LDL, to good cholesterol, which is the HDL.
The positive relationship between estrogen and cholesterol has prompted many doctors to use estrogen replacement therapy as a means to help control cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease after menopause.
The American Heart Association and the Department of Health and Human Services list smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and physical inactivity as major controllable risk factors for cardiovascular disease in both women and men. It's important to become aware of these dangerous factors in order to make the necessary lifestyle changes that can reduce their impact.
Our iHealth special presentation, Today's Health, What Women Need to Know, will continue.
Discover more about yourself and the world in which you live. Watch Day of Discovery, Sunday mornings at 7:30 on I.
If you're serious about losing weight and getting into the best shape of your life, you've got to have this free DVD. You'll see how the Bowflex Tread Climber machine burns up to twice the calories of a treadmill at the same speed. The Tread Climber is definitely not another treadmill. The dual-action treadles allow you to move up as you move forward to give you twice the workout in one easy, low-impact motion.
Call for your free DVD now and see how you can own the Bowflex Tread Climber machine for $0 down and payments as low as $24 a month.
Why run when you can walk?
This is cardio.
It's amazing how much I feel it in my core.
This is the best 30-minute workout I've ever had.
Greg Duplessis lost over 33 pounds, and Maddie Neal lost 50 pounds of fat by walking on the Bowflex Tread Climber. If you're serious about getting into the best shape of your life, call or go online and get your free DVD right now.
Bowflex Tread Climber. Be lean, be fit, be Bowflex.
If you have back pain, arthritis, fibromyalgia, tendinitis, any kind of joint and muscle pain or stiffness at all, you finally have a safe, effective relief. Dr. Frank's homeopathic joint and muscle pain relief.
I had a lot of fear that I would be crippled at a very young age. It was a miracle that I found something safe and that had such dramatic pain relief.
Dr. Frank's is all natural. Just spray here and stop all your pain everywhere. For the first time ever, these 10 homeopathic ingredients have been combined in a revolutionary oral spray that stops inflammation, pain, and stiffness.
I pretty much quit tennis just because of the pounding. Since using this spray, my pain and tenderness and swelling and soreness and stiffness has gone.
If you have any kind of joint and muscle pain or stiffness, Dr. Frank's Joint and Muscle Pain Relief is the safe, all-natural relief you've been searching for.
I have no pain in my knees, no sciatica, and I'm pain-free.
I'm Dr. Ken Frank. I'm a medical doctor. There is a safe way to stop your pain, and I guarantee that your daily aches and pains, whether mild or severe, will stop or significantly decrease with this formula.
Start living your life pain-free. Try safe, effective Dr. Frank's risk-free. Call now and get a 200-spray trial bottle for only $19.95.
It was as though someone has given me an electric shock that went up the arm, and I could not do that. Now, I can't get that pain no matter how far I turn my arm. And now I'm playing tennis again.
Call now and spray away your pain in days. Call now for your risk-free trial bottle of Dr. Frank's Joint and Muscle Pain Relief. Ask how to double the supply for free. And also ask how to get for free Dr. Frank's 100-page book about natural and safe pain relief without drugs.
Call now, 1-800-957-5174. 1-800-957-5174. That's 1-800-957-5174.
Dr. Frank's pain relief really works.
Many women are at greater risk for cardiovascular disease because they don't do enough physical activity or eat a proper diet. Prevention of heart disease and stroke does not have to involve complicated medical therapies. Proper nutrition and exercise may be all that's necessary.
Obesity and physical inactivity are two significant risk factors for cardiovascular disease in women. Taken together, they represent the second major preventable cause of deaths in America today. The key to reducing your risk is to adopt a program of proper nutrition and physical activity.
For many years, the American Heart Association has recommended about 30 minutes of vigorous activity 3 to 4 times per week. Recently, the Surgeon General's report on physical activity recommended that 30 minutes of moderate physical activity on most days of the week can have significant health benefits.
Regular exercise, especially aerobic exercise, improves heart function. It helps to some extent to lower the cholesterol levels. It improves circulation. It can help people often that have high blood pressure, can lower their blood pressure to some extent.
Physical exercise is also very important in controlling other coronary risk factors. It can be helpful in the management of obesity, hypertension, as well as diabetes.
I was 28 years old and I had a heart attack. I was the prime example of what not to do to avoid having a heart attack. My family history is just steeped in heart disease, yet I smoked. I was up to probably about 2.5, 3 packs a day by the time I quit. My eating habits, I was probably the poster child for junk food junkies everywhere.
The Surgeon General's report found that approximately 30% of Caucasian women are inactive. To compound these statistics, over 1/3 of all Caucasian women and about 50% of all African American are obese.
The obesity causes high cholesterol, can cause you to have a high triglycerides. People that are obese or less have a tendency to exercise less, and that also is a risk factor. They also have a higher risk of having diabetes, and then that diabetes is also a risk factor for heart disease.
If anybody had ever said that I would be an athlete one day, I would have laughed in their faces. But now I'm an athlete. I run 4 to 5 times a week now. I go to the gym, I weight train, I get on the Stairmaster, I get on the cross trainers. And being able to do that without even thinking about, being winded is just the biggest pleasure.
In addition to physical activity, proper nutrition can also help reduce the risks of heart attack and stroke.
General healthy eating guidelines, as recommended by the American Heart Association, include limiting our saturated fat intake and increasing our fiber intake, mainly from vegetable sources.
Eating a healthy diet and increasing your level of physical activity are two things you can do to decrease your risk of heart attack and stroke. It's also a recipe for leading a longer and healthier life.
Melissa Montalto has made fiber a priority and weight gain a thing of the past.
When I know I'm eating a high fiber diet and I'm getting all those whole foods, I can focus on that rather than calories, and it seems to keep me at a stable weight.
Melissa's on the right track. A high fiber diet helps you lose more weight than you may think. In a study, those on a high fiber diet were half as likely to become obese.
Fiber doesn't contain any calories, yet it contains bulk. So when people consume fiber, they consume few calories. So the trick is learning what the high fiber sources are and seeking them out.
The top sources of fiber are fruits, vegetables, beans, and whole grains like brown rice, whole wheat bread, pasta, and cereals. Experts say try to get 25 to 30 grams of fiber a day. The average American gets only 14.
I think it's not hard once you know how to do it.
Some easy tips. Switch to whole grain breads. Add a handful of nuts to yogurt. Add beans to soups and salads. Also, snack on fruits, vegetables, and maybe some popcorn.
I probably eat about the 30 grams recommended amount per day.
And that's kept her weight under control.
Coming up on iHealth Presents.
That sweet sound could save your heart.
That laughter helps to reduce stress. We know that stress is perhaps the most underrated of all our heart disease risk factors.
Our iHealth special presentation, Today's Health, What Women Need to Know, will return.
Are you tired of struggling with embarrassing facial hair? Well, put that tweezer and mirror away, because now it's easy with Tweezy. Tweezy is an amazing breakthrough that not only automatically finds, grasps, and removes unwanted hair, but helps keep hair from growing back for weeks. Guaranteed.
The secret is Tweezy's patented technology that attracts hair like a magnet from every angle, so it's virtually impossible to miss a hair. It's 30 times faster than ordinary tweezers.
And unlike razors or trimmers that cause ugly stubble, Tweezy removes hair from the root, so you can go for weeks without worrying about unwanted hair.
Watch, we used a trimmer on one side of this chin and Tweezy on the other. And look, 6 weeks later, the Tweezy side is still smooth.
There's never been anything like it. If you can feel it, Tweezy can remove it.
I used to use trimmers every day, but I used Tweezy on my lips 6 weeks ago, and it's still smooth.
Sometimes it's hard to see if I got all the hairs on my face. But with Tweezy, I have confidence that all my embarrassing hairs are gone, and it lasts for weeks.
Tweezy is portable, safe, and gentle. Use Tweezy to remove unwanted hair around your chin, lip, underarms, legs, feet, and more. At last, you can have a beautiful bikini line. No more razor burn, no more waxing. Electrolysis is expensive, and plucking takes forever. But Tweezy is easy. You'll never have to worry about unwanted hair again. But wait, call within the next 10 minutes and you'll get MJoy's Hair Growth Inhibitor. Helps leave skin soft and hair-free for weeks. Imagine that's a $60 value, all for only $19.95.
I guarantee Tweezy is the best way to remove unwanted hair for weeks or your money back. Just remember, if it's easy, it's Tweezy. Call now.
Call 1-800-610-4275 to get your Tweezy hair remover for $19.95. Call now and get the bonus hair growth inhibitor absolutely free. That's 1-800-610-4275.
Experience the love.
Shut up and breathe. In our struggle against heart disease. But the most powerful weapon of all can be the human will to live. Let's meet a woman who survived a heart attack and then changed her lifestyle to help prevent it from happening again.
Millions of women in the United States have been stricken by a heart attack or stroke. Here's one woman's story of personal courage and perseverance.
The onset of my heart attack started early in the morning. I got up and I had heartburn, which I thought was heartburn. And so I knew something was wrong because I don't get heartburn. I couldn't breathe, I was short of breath, I couldn't talk. And I was, at that point, really scared.
Well, her arm pins were going numb, and then her arm started going numb, her fingers started tingling, she couldn't talk. I was scared because she was like freaking out, and it was making me scared, so I was like wondering what's going on because we didn't know she was having a heart attack.
I told my daughter to call my husband because I was really worried. And then he said, call 911, so then we called 911, the ambulance came.
Well, Becky presented to us as a transfer from an outside hospital. She had originally presented with severe chest pain, diaphoresis, and shortness of breath, and was noted to have a myocardial infarction by cardiac enzymes and EKG.
I was thinking, my 4 children, what is going to happen to my 4 children? Am I going to die?
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
She underwent a left heart catheterization and later had an angioplasty and stent placement.
I had high risk factors. I was a smoker. I smoked maybe a pack a day. But I was overweight, didn't exercise, didn't like to exercise at all. So and it was always fast food because I worked and I have a very hectic schedule. I'm not a couch potato anymore. I don't smoke anymore. And I'm on a diet and watching my weight. No, it's not easy changing the old habits. I really had to struggle and just watch what I eat, and I can't eat what I want, and I can't drink what I want, and I have to just, really change my lifestyle of eating and my lifestyle of exercising more.
I feel less worried. I'm glad that she's around now. I was lost without her.
That sweet sound could save your heart.
That laughter helps to reduce stress. We know that stress is perhaps the most underrated of all our heart disease risk factors.
New research shows just how laughing affects your body and helps prevent heart disease.
In heart disease, we always look at the negative aspects. The real question is, what are the factors that may prevent heart disease?
In a study, cardiologist Michael Miller and colleagues showed volunteers a funny movie as well as a stressful one. The endothelium, which is the lining of the blood vessels, was measured before and after watching both movies.
We believe that there is a direct effect of how our endothelium behaves and the development and progression of heart disease.
On the left is what the vessels looked like before watching the high-stress movie Saving Private Ryan. After the movie, the vessels get smaller. Now here's what laughter does. On the left is a picture before the funny movie. After it, the vessels expand, increasing blood flow and lowering blood pressure. Kelly Miller is a cardiology fellow and was a volunteer in the study. She knows how valuable laughter can be.
I think that it's important to have an outlet to release your stress.
And whether it's a funny movie or a few laughs with friends, your heart will thank you for it. This is Casey Taylor reporting.
We've all had our share of medical procedures, from mammograms to CAT scans. But what are the tests women really need? Health professionals will answer the question when iHealth Presents continues.
Experience the love.
You pinch me, I'm dreaming. This is great.
Growing Pains. Weeknights at 7, 6 Central on I.
And now back to our iHealth special presentation.
Medical screening tests every woman should know about. As you add more candles to your birthday cake, you might also want to think about adding some doctor's appointments to your schedule. Well, Lisa Dreyer is with Women's Health Magazine. She joins us now. Lisa, good morning.
Good morning.
So what's the best way? It's so overwhelming to think about all the tests we need to start thinking about having. What's your rule of thumb?
Well, basically, there are some preventative tests that you don't want to miss that we're going to talk about. But if you have a high risk of a specific disease or medical condition, you want to talk to your doctor about your medical history and get tested accordingly.
But there's some basic tests you say pretty much every woman should think about having, whether or not they have a proclivity for a particular disease or not. And on your list, for example, tests to protect us against the biggest killer in America, and I think in the world, which is heart disease. And you talk about going in for blood pressure and cholesterol tests. You know what?
That's right.
I don't do this. How often should we be doing it?
Really important to do this. You want to get blood pressure tested at least every 2 years, certainly at your medical checkup with your doctor. And for high cholesterol, what you want to do is get a fasting lipid profile. So you want to get this at least every 5 years. And you want to know what these numbers mean. You know, a lot of times we just go to the doctor, but we really don't know how to interpret the numbers. So for high blood pressure, it used to be 120/80 was optimal. Now that puts you in a pre-hypertensive category.
And as we showed in the graphic, you should start these when you're very young. This is not something you start when you're 40 or 50. You start when you're 18 or 20. The Pap smear, also something that women need to be doing, I think, every year, right?
Oh, absolutely. Even though some guidelines suggest otherwise. Gynecologists will tell you that public health recommendations are one thing, but individuals are another. And you certainly want to get a Pap test within 3 years after becoming sexually active, but no later than 21. Really important to detect inflammation and infection, possibly HPV, which is human papillomavirus. This is a precursor to cervical.
That's a very prevalent virus, too.
Very prevalent among women.
And cervical cancer, if caught early, is 100% curable.
It's just about 100% treatable, so really important not to skip these tests.
Mammograms every year after the age of 40.
That's right. A mammogram is an X-ray of the breast. It's the most effective way to detect breast cancer in its earliest and most treatable stage. You don't want to skip this, starting at the age of 40, as you mentioned. But if you are at high risk for breast cancer, if you have a family history, it's probably a good idea to start earlier. This is something to talk about with your doctor. And of course, a monthly self-exam as well.
Always. In fact, I'm actually overdue for one skin test.
Yes.
To check ourselves for any kind of thing that might be...
It seems so obvious,
yes.
but it's really important. Skin cancer affects 20% of Americans, but when it's detected early enough, it has a 95% cure rate.
What do you look for? How do you know?
Well, it's really important. The melanoma is the most serious form of skin cancer. ABCD, asymmetry, border irregularity, the borders are usually ragged, color, usually melanomas have shades of brown and black, there's often red or white mixed in, and diameter, pencil eraser. Usually if it's that size or larger, that can signal melanoma. And it's important, just because you stay out of the sun now, that doesn't mean that you can skip these exams. You want to go for a monthly self-exam and a yearly test at the dermatologist.
Okay.
Most of the damage is done by the age of 20.
Thyroid test.
Right, really important, because a hyper or overactive or underactive thyroid can lead to problems with weight, fertility, sleep, even depression. So you want to get a TSH test. This is thyroid stimulating hormone. You want to get this definitely at the age of 35 and then every 5 years thereafter. After 55, once a year. Really important. A lot of times people have trouble losing weight and they're dieting and exercising. It could be due to an underactive thyroid.
All right, we don't have enough time for anything else, but we want to just mention that bone mineral density tests are also very important. Lisa Dreher, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ann.
We love caffeinated sodas. They're tasty, they're refreshing, but are they putting our health at risk? Coming up on iHealth Presents.
Now you can share the laughs with America's favorite family.
Somebody pinch me, I'm dreaming, this is great!
Growing Pains, weeknights at 7, 6 Central on I.
Hi, Kathy Mitchell here in the kitchen with the incredible new flat fold colander. It opens to strain and folds flat for easy storage. It's the colander that's large enough to strain a big pot of pasta, but folds down small enough that you can store it anywhere. And it even saves space in the dishwasher. Trying to strain with a pot and lid can be an accident waiting to happen. But watch! The flat fold colander drains quickly, and the pour spout allows me to move the food without losing a single piece. Just look at how much space ordinary colanders take up. With flat fold colanders, you'll save a lot of space. Other colanders sit low in the sink, so the water actually backs up inside. But the flat fold colander stands tall, so whether you're washing, rinsing, straining, or draining, the water stays away from the food. The flat fold colander is large and strong enough to hold 10 pounds of potatoes. The easy grip handles make it easy to lift, and it won't tip over. Use it for straining pastas or steamed vegetables, or easily clean a giant head of romaine lettuce. And remember, the flat fold colander stores thin enough, you can slide it away into any small space. I like to take it to the garden when I gather fresh vegetables, and then right into the sink to rinse them off. And you know, you can even prep and toss a family-sized salad in the flat fold colander, and the best part of that, no more soggy salads. And when you're done, just snap it closed and tuck it away out of the way. Call now to get the flat fold colander for just $14.99. As a bonus, you'll also get the 6-piece flat fold storage set, a $15 value, yours free. They flatten down to 1 inch so they save even more space in your cabinets. Then pop open easily to keep foods in the refrigerator or freezer. And they're dishwasher safe. But wait, order right now and we'll even include a second flat fold colander. Just pay separate shipping and handling. That means you get 2 flat fold colanders and the 6-piece flat fold storage set, a combined $45 value, all for just $14.99.
Call 1-800-470-3894 to get your flat fold colander for only $14.99. That's 1-800-470-3894. This TV offer is not in stores, so call now, 1-800-470-3894.
If you're like us, you'll never want to waste your time on a treadmill again.
This free DVD shows you how Bowflex's Tread Climber burns calories in half the time of a treadmill at the same speed. Call for yours now. You need to see this free DVD.
Tread Climber lets me get an amazingly effective cardio workout in 30 minutes. It's quick, it's easy, and it makes me feel great. And it's compact enough to fit anywhere in my home.
The Tread Climber machine combines the walking motion of a treadmill with the stepping motion of a stair stepper. So you do twice the work in one easy elliptical motion.
It feels sort of like walking in sand. A Tread Climber workout can burn up to twice as many calories as a treadmill at the same speed for great results in just 30 minutes.
I have to stay on a treadmill for 60 minutes to burn the same amount of calories.
Who's got time for that?
Plus, it's low impact, which keeps my knees feeling great. And if you think owning a gym quality machine is too expensive, think again. You can own your own Bowflex Tread Climber with no money down and payments as low as $23 a month.
It's a lot easier than going to a health club.
I know I have to take care of myself now if I want to look younger and feel younger. And let's face it, live longer.
And the Bowflex Tread Climber lets me do just that in a quick and easy 30-minute workout. Tread Climber simply produces results.
Bowflex built this machine so well that they even back it with a 5-year warranty. If you're serious about your health and you want to get a gym quality workout at home, then you need Tread Climber.
Call right now for your free DVD. It shows you why the Bowflex Tread Climber machine burns calories and works your heart faster than any treadmill on the market today.
Would you like firm thighs, tight glutes, flatter abs, a strong core, and increased metabolism? Well, Bowflex guarantees results in just 6 weeks. Call the number on the screen to get a free DVD or video that tells you about the most important innovation in home fitness ever, the Bowflex Tread Climber.
For Diane Gallrad, coffee is the fuel that keeps her running from sun up to sundown.
I drink 4 or 5 cups a day, and it's always been a concern because it was always considered a health risk.
Today, good news. A new study says all of that coffee doesn't lead to an increased risk of high blood pressure, something previous studies had suggested. Diane was one of 155,000 female nurses who doctors have been studying for 12 years. They found no link between coffee consumption and hypertension, a major risk for heart disease affecting nearly 50 million people in the U.S. In fact,
those women who consumed the most coffee were at the lowest risk of developing high blood pressure.
But there was also a surprising finding. Women who drank 4 or more sodas each day, sugared or diet, did have a higher risk of hypertension. Not the news 23-year-old Whitney Clarkson wanted to hear.
Basically, I have a can on my desk almost at all times, and if I run out, I usually have, a backup somewhere in my desk.
The question, is it the caffeine in soda or something else that leads to high blood pressure? The American Beverage Association says today's study exonerates caffeine as a risk factor for hypertension. But researchers say that may be premature, that caffeine may be to blame. But in coffee, it's possible the antioxidant ingredients counter the effect of caffeine and protect the heart, which may be why more coffee leads to less hypertension.
And it should put women at peace that they can enjoy the morning or afternoon habit without needing to fear any long-term consequences on their blood pressure.
Researchers will now examine in depth the relationship between sodas, caffeine, and hypertension, this time in men. Tom Costello, NBC News, Washington.
It seems everywhere you look, low carb has become high priority. You want bread, you want pasta, you want fast food, and who would believe a low carb sandwich from a chain with the name of Blimpie? These foods are low carb, right? The carb count, it's right there on the label in black and white. The government doesn't have a real definition of what low carb really is, but for those of you counting carbs, here is the question. Is what you see on those labels really what you get? To answer that question, reporters at NBC stations around the country have been testing low-carb foods. In Los Angeles, KNBC tested pizza, muffins, and cake. The carb claims didn't add up. In Boston, WHDH found cookies and bread with up to 6 times the carbs promised. In Miami, WTVJ tested pasta and tortilla chips. Each gave consumers more carbs than they bargained for. So Dateline decided to do some shopping and testing of our own. We randomly selected more than 50 low-carb items, including fast food, restaurant meals, and packaged goods like pasta, breads, and cookies. We also tested 14 low-carb products made by the Atkins organization itself. Dateline hired Sanapure Labs to test the products for net carbs. That's total carbs minus dietary fiber and sugar alcohol, a concept Dr. Atkins promoted and now many low-carb food manufacturers have adopted. Lab director Ron Schnitzer walked us through the testing process. It's not what you would call a mouth-watering experience. That sandwich looked a lot better before we threw it in there.
By the time it's through,
yeah,
you might not want to eat it anymore.
Every product is blended into a nasty-looking mush, which is then weighed, heated, liquefied, and incubated for at least 16 hours. So how did our low-carb food test shape up? The test results were filled with some real surprises. In the winner's circle, Burger King. Its claim of a low-carb bunless hamburger was no whopper. It's supposed to have 5 grams of net carbs. One we sampled was much lower, only 1.2 grams. 2 major restaurant chains, Subway and TGI Fridays, have low-carb menus approved by the Atkins organization. One of the 4 Subway wraps tested slightly higher. At this New York Subway, coincidentally located in the Subway, the turkey bacon melt wrap listed at 10 grams of net carbs had more than 12. Subway says the wrap we got was too big and not made to formula.
So this is the Atkins stuff right here?
2 out of 6 meals from TGI Fridays also had carb counts different than the menu. The buffalo wing should be 5 grams of net carbs. Our test showed 7.68. TGI Fridays says the food preparer put too much blue cheese in our meal. And did the Atkins produced foods pass our test? Yes, with flying colors. Of the 14 Atkins products we tested, 9 actually had fewer net carbs than on the label. 4 were perfect, and 1 was slightly above what the label said.
We do independent testing to confirm what we claim on our label.
But some low-carb products didn't fare as well. Dariel Penne Pasta. The label says 10 grams of net carbs. Our test revealed almost 15.
How many net carbs is that one?
Whole Foods low-carb rye bread should be 4 grams of net carbs. Our lab showed nearly double. And the low-carb creation Snickerdoodle cookie should have 2 grams of net carbs. Our test showed double that. Whole Foods actually thanked Dateline for pointing out a problem on the label and pulled the bread off the shelves. Low Carb Creation says they're retesting their Snickerdoodle cookie and say test results can vary. The Dariel people challenge our results and say the pasta tests differently after it's been on the shelf for a while. Let's say a product is off by a couple of carbs here or there. I mean, what's a few carbs among friends? Does it really matter?
If you're so conscious about this diet, 1 extra gram of carbohydrate will throw you off.
Especially if you're starting the Atkins diet and can only have 20 net carbs a day. And then there is the tale of 2 blimpies. In this chain, one store turned out the clear loser in our low-carb test. At this Manhattan Blimpie, a ham and Swiss sandwich listed on the menu at 8.5 grams of net carbs, but our test showed it contained more than 40 grams. The buffalo chicken and cheese sandwich that was supposed to be just 7 grams of net carbs came in at a whopping 45 grams. Both sandwiches contained about as many carbs as a regular Blimpie sub with all the dressings. Blimpie says the problem may have been either in the way the sandwich was prepared or in how we ordered, but twice we asked for low-carb sandwiches.
Sandwiches? Okay. Let me have a ham and Swiss sandwich and one of the buffalo chicken and cheese sandwiches too.
Across the river in New Jersey, 2 carb counter sandwiches from this Blimpies tested exactly right. Overall, more than 27% of the samples Dateline tested had higher net carbs than they were supposed to. Half were lower than the label said, and 23% came in where they were supposed to.
When I go to the store and I pick up something and I look at net carbs and it says 3, do I believe what I'm reading?
I don't think the consumer has any way of knowing what they're actually getting.
Not encouraging news, which unfortunately brings us back to the most despised diet concept: eat less.
It has become a food, a comfort food for many people. Well, nutritionist Joy Bauer is back to give us the Chocoholic Lowdown. Joy, good morning.
Hi, Ann.
I've got to say, this is a segment perfect for me because I'm a recovering chocoholic myself. But is it really actually true that we can get addicted to chocolate, or is that just simply an excuse?
You know, craving chocolate is very different from an addiction. Addiction requires significant psychological and physical symptoms, which you just don't get with chocolate.
Okay.
There's no science to back that up.
So really, it simply is a craving because we love it, but it does have caffeine in it.
Yeah, it has a little bit of caffeine, but I think what we crave more is the sensory properties, the texture, the aroma, and that mouth-watering taste.
Creaminess and all that good stuff. And there, we should probably get into the 3 different types of chocolate so that we can sort of define what we're talking about. We all know what they are. My favorite, dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate right now is all the rage, so that's good. Dark chocolate has at least 35% cocoa, which is filled with potent antioxidants in the form of flavonoids. That's why we're hearing that it protects us from disease, it gives elasticity to blood vessels. It's your bittersweet, your semi-sweet, and your plain dark chocolate.
So that actually has some good properties, but it also does have some fats. You have to be careful.
The type of fat does not raise your cholesterol in dark chocolate. It's called stearic acid.
The most popular is the milk chocolate version. That also still has the good properties?
It has some, but significantly less than the dark, because it's only 10% cocoa. They add milk fat, so this does have the type of fat that raises the cholesterol.
Okay, what about white chocolate? You know, a lot of kids like this, but does it really even have any chocolate in it?
Chocolate connoisseurs will tell you it's a fraud. There's no cocoa solids within it, but it does have the cocoa butter. This is a pure indulgence, no benefits.
So no benefits, all right, so that's the definition. You know, when I was young, when I was a child, chocolate bars were so small. You know, they were little tiny things compared to what they are today.
Yeah,
they're insane. What's happened?
Growing portion distortion. Now, thank goodness we still have the fun size. Little M&Ms, for example, 80 to 108 calories, depending. Then we have the standard vendor size, 240 calories. Unfortunately, the king size has taken over in candy shops. For the vendor size.
I mean, you know, this is one of the major reasons, it seems to me, that why our young kids are, you know, are basically so overweight these days, because you go to the movie and you're getting that.
700 calories for this. 700. And if you can imagine in a dark theater, it's very easy when you're engaged in a movie to gobble down this whole entire bag.
Making it even worse are the chocolate desserts.
Oh man, a big chocolate donut. We have chocolate cake, at least 400 calories. A chocolate milkshake, remember you're adding syrup and whole milk. 580 calories. A Starbucks Grande hot chocolate latte is going to be 450, 13 artery clogging grams of fat. So it's a lot. And that brownie sundae, 850 plus calories.
And all of it bad except a little bit of the dark chocolate positive there.
There's not really dark chocolate in there.
Even.
Yeah,
you can't even say that that's good for you in any way.
That is pure decadence.
So all of this stuff is not great. But you say that there are ways that can help you.
Well, first I'm going to give you sort of a chocoholic reality check. If you take in the amount of calories that it takes you to maintain your body weight day after day, but add an additional chocolate bar every single day at the end of the year, you're going to have more than 80,000 additional calories,
80,000,
more than 5,000 grams of fat, and the potential to gain up to 25 pounds of weight.
One chocolate bar?
That's one chocolate bar on top of your daily maintenance calories every single day for a year. If you do 2, if you're a real chocoholic, we're talking more than 170,000 additional calories, more than 10,000 grams of fat, and you could gain up to 50 pounds of weight. So you do need to be careful. And I've polled chocoholics. If you add 3 daily servings of chocolate every single day,
you run the risk of gaining up to 75 pounds of weight. And if you want to walk that off, you'll have to start in New York, and you're going to have to end in Alaska. New York!
That's right. Well, that's the point, is that if you get rid of these the same amount, if you get rid of one or get rid of two or get rid of three, then you're also going to start to see some weight loss.
Absolutely.
We're out of time, but let me just really quickly, what would you advise chocoholics to do?
Don't give it up. I'm a fan of chocolate. Man can't live without chocolate, but 150 calories, no, 150 calories or less, and there's so many options. And it's all on the website.
So it really is about moderation.
It's about moderation. Indulge in the great stuff once in a while. Stick to dark whenever you can. Otherwise, 150 calories or less.
This is Eye Health.
Did you ever have one of those days when you get beat up by a girl? Pretend you're sick so you can skip school.
Hey, Dad, I think I'm well enough to watch TV now.
As long as you don't enjoy it.
Get totally mortified because your family crashed your slumber party?
Grandma!
Share the laughs with America's favorite family. Growing Pains, next on Eye.
This has been an Eye Health presentation.